Hi, welcome to my video on Solve Cubic Radical Equations, Part 2. Solve cubic radical equations. The steps I'm going to use is isolate the radical to the left side, cube both sides, simplify each side, solve for x, and check the values. So let's do some examples. Notice first one is the cube root of 2x equals 4. So we're going to, the root is already isolated, so we're going to cube each side. The cube root of 2x cubed is 2x. 4 cubed is 16 times 4 is 64. Divide by 2, so x equals 32. So now we're going to check it, so we're going to put 32 back in the place of x, so the cube root 2, 32 equals 4. Cube root of 64 equals, bring it down, cube root of 64 is 4, so it works okay. Next one. To solve this one, we have to isolate the root. So, cube root x minus 2 equals negative 3 plus 6. Cube root of x minus 2 equals 3. The root is isolated, so I'll cube both sides. The cube root of x minus 2 cubed is x minus 2. 3 cubed is 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. X equals 27 plus 2. X equals 29. Let's check it. So we'll sub the 29 in the place of x and write the equation down. And the cube root of 29 minus 2, we have to simplify the root first. We get a 27. Cube root of 27 is 3. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. Both sides are the same, so 29 is okay. Now we have to brackets here. We have to isolate the root, but we have to remove the brackets first. So 5 times the cube root of x is 5. Cube root x. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 4. So we remove the bracket. Now we'll isolate the root. So let's simplify. Negative 10 plus 4 is negative 6. That's the x there. Negative 6 equals negative 11. Now we'll isolate the root, but we have to move the negative 6 to the right side, make it positive. Simplify the left side to be negative 5. Divide by 5 on each side. So the cube root of x equals negative 1. Root is isolated, so we will cube each side. And the cube root of x all cubed is x. Negative 1 cubed is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. So let's check to see. 5 bracket. Cube root of x is negative 1 minus 2 plus 4 equals. So we sub the negative 1 into the original equation, and we have to do the inside of the bracket first. Cube root of negative 1 is negative 1 minus 2. And we simplify the bracket to be negative 3. PEMDAS says we have to multiply first, so we get negative 15 plus 4. And this time I'm bringing 11 down. I didn't have to. Negative 11 equals a negative 11. True. So negative 1 is the root. Okay, let's continue. Now, let's do something different this time. We're going to solve and check at the same time, but it's not different, but I wrote it down, solve and check. So this time, different is that pause the video and work these out before I do to see if you're going to know what to do. Here we go. We have the root is already isolated, so we'll cube both sides. So the cube root of negative x minus 2 all cubed is negative x minus 2. 2 cubed, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Negative x equals 8 plus 2. Negative x equals 10. And we multiply by negative 1, or divide by negative 1. Negative 1 times x is x. Negative 1 times negative x is x. Negative 1 times 10 is negative 10. So we check the cube root. X is negative 10. So I put the x is negative 10, so I put the negative of x. So there's the negative, x is negative 10, so we'll simplify the inside. Negative of a negative is a positive. Cube root of 8. The cube root of 8 is 2. The left side equals the right side, so negative 10 is okay. And number 2, we have to isolate the roots, so let's do the negative 4 cube root x equals negative 6 plus 3. Negative 4 is the cube root of x, negative 3. Divide by negative 4 on each side. They cancel. So the cube root of x equals 3 over 4. Negative divided by negative positive. So we'll cube both sides. So we get x equals 3 cubed is 27, 4 cubed is 64. So let's check to see if it's okay. X is 27 over 64. And minus 3 minus 6. We have to do the cube root first. So cube root of 27 is 3. Cube root of 64 is 4. We have to multiply, so we cancel. We get negative 1, so negative 3 minus 3. Negative 6 equals negative 6, so we're okay. Now, number 3 is a little bit different. We have fractions, so we need an LCD. So the LCD, 2 and 4, so LCD is 4. So we'll multiply each part of the equation by 4. Multiplying the equation by 4 will eliminate the fractions. So 4, 2 into 4 goes 2, so that's 2 cube root x. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 cancels into 4 once, so we get cube root of x. And we have to isolate, so all the roots have to go to one side. So 2 cube root x minus the cube root of x equals negative 4. 2 minus, notice the two roots are the same radicands, same roots. So 2 subtract 1 is 1. So it's the cube root of x equals negative 4. Root is isolated, so we cube both sides. And that's an x. And negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 is negative 64. So let's check it. Half cube root negative 64 plus 1 equals cube root of negative 64 divided by 4. So that's a half. Cube root of negative 64 is negative 4. Cube root of negative 64 is negative 4. So half of negative 4 is negative 2. Negative 4 divided by 4 is negative 1. Negative 1 equals negative 1, correct? So negative 64 is the correct answer. And again, we have two fractions, but this time we can cross multiply because A over B equals C over D, and A times D equals B times C. So that's what we're doing here. So we'll take 2 times cube root of x plus 3 minus 2 equals 5 times so we cross multiply, so 2 times this numerator is right here, and 5 times this numerator is right here. So we'll simplify each side, multiply 2 by these two terms, two expressions. So it's 2 cube root x plus 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 1 is 5. And 5 times cube root of x plus 3. So the 2 is multiplied by both, the 5 is multiplied by both. Now we'll isolate the roots all on. So it's 2 cube root of x plus 3 minus 5 x plus 3. So move the 5 times cube root of x plus 3 over, and we'll move the 4 to the right side, make it positive. That gives, these are two like radicals, so we can subtract them. That gives me 3 cube root of x plus 3. 5 plus 4 is 9. Divide by negative 3. Cancel. So the cube root of x plus 3 equals negative 3. The root is isolated, so we'll cube both sides. So x plus 3 equals negative 27. X equals negative 27 minus 3. X equals negative 30. And we take our time and we check this out. Cube root, x is negative 30. Minus 2. 1 plus, and again we're subbing in a negative 30. And that simplifies to, we got to do the root first, so that's the cube root, negative 27. We have to do the inside of the root, negative 27. So the cube root of negative 27 is negative 3. Cube root of negative 27 is a negative 3. Negative 2, negative 3, subtract 2 is negative 5 over 5. 1 subtract 3 is negative 2 over 2. Negative 1 equals negative 1. Negative 30 is the correct answer. Okay. And some more to do. Again, the more we do, the better we'll get. Normally, the more practice you do in math, the better the marks, the more you'll understand. Here we go, we got to isolate the root. So we get negative 2 cube root of a negative a half x plus 3 equals 8 minus 2, negative 2 cube root of a negative a. So that's 6. Divide by negative 2. They cancel. So I get the cube root of a negative a half x plus 3 equals negative 3. I have the root isolated, so I'll cube both sides. So that's a negative a half x plus 3, negative 27. Negative 3 cubed is negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. And I have a fraction, so the LCD is 2, so I multiply both sides by 2. Let's multiply it by negative 2. Why? Because then the x becomes positive. So negative 2 a half is 1, negative 6, and that's 54. So x is 54 plus 6, so x is 60. So let's go back to check to see if we're okay. Negative 2 cube root, negative a half of 60 plus 3, add on 2 equals 8. So I put in 60 in the place of x. Now I have to simplify what's inside the root first. Half of negative a half times 60 is negative 30. So notice I'm doing one step at a time. And the cube root of negative 30 plus 3 is negative 27. And the cube root of a negative 27 is a negative 3. And negative 2 times negative 3 is 6 plus 2. 8 equals 8. 8 there. 60 is the right answer. And number 6, again, I have fractions. Notice I keep reminding of reviewing the fractions. We've got an equation with fractions. I multiply by the LCD. So the LCD, 4, 3, and 6, the LCD is 12. 12, 4, 3, and 6 will divide into 12, common denominator. So we'll multiply each term by 12, each part of the equation by 12. 4 into 12 goes 3, so we get 3 cube root of x plus 2. 3 into 12 goes 4, so we get 4 times 2. 6 into 12 goes 2, so we get 2. I could have multiplied 2, but I just wanted to do 4 into 12, so I put everything in brackets. And now we multiply, so we'll get 3 cube root of x plus 2, 8 more. So negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So we'll isolate the root. Negative 8 becomes positive 8. So 6 divided by 3. I get the cube root. X plus 2, they cancel, equals 2, and the root is isolated, so now I'll cube both sides. So x plus 2 equals 2 cubed. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. x equals 8 minus 2, x equals 6. So let's see if we're correct. The cube root, x is 6, so I put 6 plus 2 over 4 minus 2/3 minus 1/6. So we have to do the root first, inside the root first, cube root of 8. And again, I do one step at a time to make sure I have explained to you. Cube root of 8 is 2. And I could reduce the 2 over 4 is a half. Didn't have to. I could have got a common denominator here of 12 and worked it that way, but I reduced 2 over 4 to half. Now the common denominator is 6. So this one is multiplied by 3 over 3. That gives me 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, minus, common denominator is 6, so we multiply it by 2 over 2. There's a 4 over 6, and common denominator is 6, so 3 subtract 4 is negative 1 over 6. Negative 1 over 6, right, coming down here. And so 6 is the correct answer. Again, more practice, the better you become. Normally in math, practice makes better marks. Practice should translate. The more practice you do, the higher your marks should be, and the better you'll understand. And so if you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button, visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video was of some help to you. Bye-bye.